Okay, welcome to a new episode of Nate's MMA Corner. I'm Nate, and if you watch my show, you're in my corner. Today's episode is a pre-fight show for UFC Fight Night, Moraes versus Rivera. Bantamweight clash of the ages, top-ranked bantamweights in the UFC duking it out. I'm pretty excited about this card. I think there's going to be a lot of hard-fought fights that go to a decision on this card. Usually I'm not the biggest fan of decisions, but well, actually, you know what? I got it. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I got a few stoppages on my fantasy. As you can see here, hopefully you can see this. Anyways, so I'll just do a quick, pre-fight of the main card with my predictions, as always, and let's get started. So the bantamweight main event is Jimmy Rivera versus Marlon Moraes. I'm gonna go with Jimmy Rivera by decision. I think he lands takedowns and works his heavy hands, and his striking defense holds up just enough for him to avoid getting knocked out. I think Marlon could knock him out, but I think Jimmy's striking defense will hold up, and then he'll use wrestling as his main weapon and go for takedowns. And Marlon will really do what he can off his back, but Rivera will get the better of it and win a decision. Then in the lightweight division, we have Gregor Gillespie versus Vince Pichel. Pichel, he's from Ultimate Fighter Season 15, the Ultimate Fighter Live season, and he's done pretty well for himself in the UFC since that season wrapped up. Gregor Gillespie, he is a prospect to be looking out for in the UFC. He has a lot of hype going with him. And I think he squeaks out a win barely by decision. I think Vince is going to give him a way tougher fight than people give him credit for. So I think this goes to decision. I think Gillespie wins 2 of the 3 rounds, winning 29-28 unanimous decision. Then in the heavyweight division, we have Walt Harris versus Daniel Spitz. And I'm picking Walt Harris on this one, but I think there's going to be a knockout either way. I'm only giving Walt Harris a 55% chance of winning this fight by first round knockout. If he doesn't, then I could see it being first or second round knockout for Spitz. So, yeah, it's this is a coin toss. I went back and forth on this one because both are sort of been struggling as of late in the last few fights. But I think Walt Harris has lost to the tougher competition. And I think he can beat the quote-unquote lesser competition in the UFC, but everyone in the heavyweight division is talented. Then in the welterweight division, we have Jake Ellenberger versus Ben Saunders. You know, I know a lot of people are picking Jake Ellenberger on this one, but I got to go with Ben Saunders. I think his heavy hands and his reach and height advantage, I believe he will have a noticeable advantage in those regards in this fight. And I think Ben Saunders gets a first round knockout. I could see him knocking out a Jake Ellenberger in this fight. Then in the featherweight division, we have Julio Arce versus Daniel Tamer. Arce, I believe he was on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, and he looked pretty good there. Daniel Tamer is the brother of David Tamer, and Daniel has come into the UFC with a lot of hype, but yeah, so far it's been sort of hard to say given his last performance, which, let me just double check that. Yeah, he made his UFC debut, and he was, Danny Henry he lost to. But we'll see if he rebounds with this one. But yeah, he definitely needs this win to really stay alive in the UFC featherweight division. He trains at a good gym, and so yeah, I'm gonna go with Tamer on this one because I think the wrestling coaches he has over at All Stars in Sweden are great coaches for wrestling. So keep it standing if needed, which I think he'll need in this fight. And then his stand-up's pretty good, so I think he keeps his fight standing, and it stays the way he wants it. to stay, and it works in his favor. And so he wins, outpoints Julio Arce and wins by decision. Then to kick off the main card in a light heavyweight clash, we have Gian Villante versus Sam Alvey. Sam Alvey has gone to middleweight, but has been at middleweight, and now he's at light heavyweight for this fight. And I'm sure he's thinking, maybe the power he has with his hands, that he could knock out Gian Villante, and I think he can do it. If he waits around for the counter, that may not be the best idea. If he goes in aggressive against Gian Villante and looks for that quick stoppage, then the fight will be way easier for him. And I think I can picture him getting a late in the second round stoppage by KO. So I'm going with second round KO. Sorry, Matt, Sarah, if you're watching this. Sorry, Ray Longo. I know John's your boy. And sorry, Aljo. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. But I'm going with Sam Alvey on this one. Sam, if you're watching, I know you like hearing this stuff, that I'm picking you. And I've been right about a lot of Sam Alvey fights. Anyhow, so there you have it. There's my predictions of the main card and rundown. So yeah, that wraps up the pre-fight show. Stay tuned in the coming days for my post-fight show and any other future episodes I may have up my sleeve. Until then, see ya.